Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mohsin Hassanin and we're in my kitchen here on my small holding in South Wales. We are going to be cooking beef today in today's episode. And this, for me, represents the perfect essence of halal, tayyib and ethical food. So in this episode, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to surprise Uthman with a nice bit of beef. And I'm going to get out of the fridge, I'm going to call him in, bring him in, and we'll get this cooking. But before Chef gets here, let's take a quick look behind the scenes at the butchering process and the differences in how livestock is reared when it comes to beef, courtesy of Abraham Organics Butchery. People just really don't realise how much it goes into preparation, you know? It's great stuff.
Okay, we're done. Now we have to scrape the bone here.
All right.
To take that skin. Make sure there's no more mold on it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Is this all going in the bin?
Yeah, all bin. We try not to make it straight and nice. Okay. And in this side, you can see a marbling, very nice marbling here.
Wow. So yeah, look, the beef colour.
Exactly, so this
Yellow.
is the marbling. The more the marbling is important inside, more the price is expensive.
And the taste.
More the quality, yeah. And more the taste is stronger, and more the flavour
Oven
ready to go.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
How are you?
Yes. So you've been cooking for me, and you've been telling me what you're going to cook. But today, I'm going to drop a little surprise on you and see what you can do with it.
Okay. I don't see
Okay?
no meat. I don't
I'm
see
going to
no
get
protein.
it out of the fridge.
Got eggs, got vegetables. Oh,
There
hello.
we go. This is a beef short rib. So your first look, in terms of the quality, what do you think of this?
It's beautiful. It smells amazing, first of all. I smelled it as soon as you put it
Oh,
in
right,
the
okay.
fridge. I'm going to do something completely different today. I'm not even going to do slow cooked ribs as you would expect with short ribs. I'm going to use it as a steak.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm going to, as you can see, you got the tallow here.
Okay.
So I'm going to marinate it in tallow, salt and pepper, some garlic and thyme and rosemary. And I'm going to sear the front side, the meat side of the beef, of the joint, and put it in the oven. With the beef, I'm going to do Yorkshire pudding and roast vegetables. So let's get started. See? Tallow on top.
Why are you putting tallow on it? What you're gonna use this as a sort of a marinade?
Yes, I am. The main reason is the flavour. I want to enhance the flavour a lot more than just using oil, your normal vegetable oil. So if we had a tallow here, use it. Why not? Right. So that's what I'm looking at, to bring as much as flavour out of the meat.
That's exciting for me. Should I tell you why that's really exciting for me? Because that's one cow. That has been produced in the most simple way. The animal has lived on grass. It hasn't been fed any outside grain whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
So the production of its tallow and its meat, and all we need is salt and pepper. It's an incredibly sustainable way to develop food. You see, and people have a real misunderstanding that beef or other meats, especially beef, needs to be fed all this grain, and in fact, it makes the animal more unhealthy. Yeah,
Right.
and it's unsustainable.
Okay. Look at that.
And what's the difference between this and the standard beef that you
look at
normally
this.
come across?
Well, it's the aging as well, because this is 28 days.
Oh, no, it's
aged.
longer. It's longer.
It's a lot longer.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
how long?
about 2 months aged.
Oh, beautiful. This is so the taste will be different. It will just literally just come off the bone once you finish cooking it. The smell, the whole experience of eating it is completely different from your normal what you would get from your normal butchers. Yeah. So I'm just searing it now with the tallow and the oil. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil at the end. Thyme, garlic, rosemary, and I'm gonna put that in the oven, 200 to 230 degrees. Depends how you like it. I like my medium rare. I don't know about yourself. A lot of people like theirs medium well to well done, which I don't do. So I'm gonna do medium rare, which is gonna take about 25 minutes or so. 20 minutes because
so you're going to
size-
sear this for how long?
just for 4 or 5 minutes, just to make sure it's a nice, beautiful colour on it.
Okay, and then stick that in the oven?
Yeah, stick that in the oven for about 20 minutes.
So whilst Uthman cooks up a storm, we're going to head back to Romshed Farm and talk to Fidelity about beef production and how this beautiful meat ended up on our plate from the farm. So, Fidelity, why do you do what you do here?
Well, the farm is certified organic with the Soil Association and pasture-fed with the Pasture-Fed Livestock Association. So that means that we're completely chemical-free and all of our beef and sheep are fed 100% grass. They don't get fed any cereals at all. These are Herefords. Yeah, this guy. They're mainly traditional Herefords. They're not pure breed traditional, but they're nearly 100% traditional. And we chose them because they're excellent to finish off grass.
Right.
So you can do it with continental breeds, but the traditional British breeds are much easier to do 100% off grass because that's really how they used to be reared before the invention of fertilisers in the 1950s.
And have you always farmed organically?
Yeah, yes, we have really. The only thing we did, we moved here in 1983, and in the year 2000 we actually went certified organic, and before that we did used to put nitrogen on the soils.
Oh, okay. And did you see a difference between putting nitrogen on the soils and now?
It was amazing, the difference. After about 2 or 3 years, our pastures completely changed. So from having been dominated by ryegrass, which responds very well to artificial fertiliser, so it grows very quickly and gives you a crop very quickly, but the other grasses are suppressed. After not using fertiliser for 2 or 3 years, we got a huge variety of native grasses coming back in. The clovers, the vetches, the trefoils, all of those plants that fix nitrogen into the soil and a protein for the cattle, they all started to come back.
So that is, for me, that's sort of like, it's making real sense, you know,
Yes.
like to farm like that.
Yeah.
Because you're not then dependent on all these inputs coming in, paying for fertilisers because the grass is doing that itself,
Yeah.
and all the extra feeds because you've got
Yeah.
the extra feed in the grass itself.
Yeah. We're very low cost inputs, so and all natural. So I mean, you're right. We completely reduced our input costs, and we get as much grass out of our fields now as we would do if we put fertiliser on. In fact, I'd say we get a much longer season because we've got the native grasses. They continue growing on into the autumn very well, and they start earlier in the spring. So we can keep our cows out for longer. They're much healthier, just fed grass or forage all the time. I see it as a win-win situation, really.
Would you say then you're not a cow farmer, you're more of a grass and a sun and a rain farmer?
You're absolutely right. So in fact, you see, we're about to move the cows out of this field and the grass is not short. We've left a certain amount of length on it. And the reason is because we want it to catch the sunlight, to photosynthesize as much as it can, produce regrowth as quickly as possible. So you're absolutely right. We're farming the sun and the rain. And from that, we get good grass. And from that, we get good, healthy cattle. It's great. Well, we just think the combination of the two, organic pasture fed, is really,
gold
as I say,
standard.
is the gold standard, yes. Yeah.
Right, just a quick recap. We've seared the beef. It's amazing, fantastic beef is roasting away in the oven. What I've chose to do with it to go with the beef is I'm gonna do amazing Yorkshire pudding. Everyone got their own way of doing it, so I'm gonna show you a quick, simple way today. But before that, we're gonna do some vegetables, roast vegetables. I've just chosen parsnip, which is one of my favorite root veg, okay? So parsnip, aubergine, peppers, and a little bit of onion as well. So I'm just gonna peel the parsnip down, real quick. And I will cook that with the tallow that we use to marinate the beef. So get more of that beef flavor into the vegetables, right? Yeah. Root vegetable normally goes really well with beef, so you can use swede, celeriac, parsnip, like as I'm doing now today. So that's the main potatoes. You might think, yeah, I'm not using potato. Normally you have roast beef with roast potatoes, but I've decided not to do that because I'm gonna do the Yorkshire pudding, something completely different that you haven't seen before. The way I'm gonna do it, hopefully it will rise really big. That parsnip in first. You'll notice I'm doing the root veg first. It's only because that takes longer to cook, right? So I'm gonna put that into the pan and add the rest to it. Right. You can chop it roughly any way you are, how big you want it to, how big of pieces you want. Cut it half, and I'm just roughly cutting a parsnip. Now put a pan on. Really hot pan because I want the caramelization straight away onto the veg. I'm just gonna grab some tallow for the veg. Just 1 spoonful. If you don't have access to the tallow, you can use vegetable oil or olive oil, which is a substitute. It's not really a big deal. You can use coconut oil as well, which is quite healthy. Put that there. And parsnips is straight in. There you go. And I have a habit of, every time I put something in a pan, I always have to season it straight away. It's just one of the things that you learn in the kitchen. As soon as you put in a pan, you season it straight away because you don't forget. I don't personally like pepper myself, but one of the main reasons I'm using it is because it does bring a beautiful flavor. It's just personal reason I don't like pepper, but it brings a vibrant color and beautiful flavors, and the smell as well brings a good marriage with the beef. How I like my peppers is stuffed peppers. So I'll have it as a vegetarian dish, which maybe in the future, maybe we can do something about it and show you how to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna, again, roughly cut it and put that in with the parsnip. Don't waste too much time on it, and take that off. There we go. Put that there. Right. And sometimes bring the pan to the veg. Season straight away. Pepper. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to roast the aubergine in a different pan. The reason for that is because it takes a lot of oil. It soaks a lot of tallow or oil or butter, whatever you use, and it's completely different texture. It's not like a hard veg such as pepper and parsnip, so that's why I'm doing it in a different pan. Take this off. Okay. It's very important when you cook veg, you know exactly the time you got to get it right, because you don't want overcooked veg, and especially with my veg, I like a bit of crunch into it. So. Hence, I started the parsnip. By the time I put the aubergine into the pan, the parsnip and the pepper already kind of gone soft, a bit softer. So it's kind of the same texture as the aubergine now. Hence, I put that in first. So it's very crucial, especially when you have meat roasting in the oven, and the Yorkshire pudding right at the end will be nice and crispy. That's why I'm leaving that right to the end.
So I'm here with Hamza, who's the head butcher, who's the man in charge of the butchery, and I'm pretty shocked at what I'm seeing, because I understand that this is an aged piece of beef, that we talked about before, but why is there all this green stuff over there? How come there's this like mold, and it just looks like it should just go in the bin? Please explain to me what's going on here.
This is very natural because it's just a mold. We keep that one for 4 weeks, and if you keep anything inside the fridge without protecting that meat, is gonna produce that mold.
So mold just comes on it.
It's very natural. So this is the 4 ribs joint. This is if we count 5 bones from the shoulder, the beef shoulder here. Yeah. If we count 5 bone, and then from this 5 bone, we're gonna count 4 bone. This is the 4 ribs joint.
Right. So the 4 rib joint. So it's the rib, this sort of section of the cow.
Exactly. So this one we can make from this one ribeye steak, cowboy steak, or tomahawk steak. Okay,
so I'm seeing here as well that there's a very different colour in the fat covering here to this one. Why is that?
It's just because that beef has been finished with just grass fat.
Grass, okay. Yeah. So this has been finished on grass?
Exactly, and that one has been finished with just seed and
grains
and Yeah.
other types of grains and things like that.
Yeah.
So the grass-fed finished or grass-finished animal is led to a sort of yellowy colour in the fat, whereas the grain one has got almost like a white glow,
exactly.
to a pinky white.
And the yellow fat colour, so is a sign of a high quality of beef.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So from a butchery perspective,
exactly.
when you see that, you say this is a high quality.
Exactly.
Everybody loves a Yorkshire pudding, so I'm going to teach you how to do the simplest Yorkshire pudding. I got already a tray in the oven. High heat, very high heat, 240, 250 degrees. The oven needs to stay really hot. And oil, a third down. There you go. And put that on top. Right. There we go. As the oil is heating up, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the mix ready. There you go. So it's very simple. Equal amount of eggs to equal amount of flour to equal amount of milk. That's all it is. Simple as that. And when I mean equal amount, I don't mean 200 grams of milk, 200 grams of flour, and 200 grams of eggs. I mean literally, you fill a cup with egg to the top, that's how much flour you put, and that's how much milk you put, and you all blitz it together. So let's go. Just make sure there's no shells that goes in it. There we go. Just a couple more, because I want it to right to the top, because I want to make sure everything is exactly the same. If I put one more, it's going to go. So I'm going to put that in the blender, because I'm going to blend the mix, all of it together. I put the eggs, the milk, and the flour, equal amount, and blend it in the blender. And that's your Yorkshire pudding mix done. Literally very simple, really quick, equal amount of everything. Now I'm going to season it before I put it into the hot oil which is in the oven. Okay. All right. Put a little bit. This is very important. When you come and put the mix in, don't pull the tray, pull the rack. See, that's what you want. The reason for that, it will be difficult for you to touch the tray and put it back later. There you go. And now you just slide the rack back in slowly. It's a little tip there. Okay. And that's your Yorkshire pudding mix done.
So Fideli, why is it so important to feed cows grass?
Because grass produces the healthiest beef you could possibly buy. Even if you feed cereals for just 8 weeks at the end of a cow's life, you've undone all the goodness that has gone into the cow to that point. So 100% pasture-fed cow is very high in omega-3s. It's got a very good omega-3 to omega-6 balance. The conjugated linoleic acids in the meat are very good for fighting serious illnesses. It's full of vitamins and minerals. That's all undone as soon as you start to feed cereals.
And obviously, it's the expense of cereals as well.
There is. I mean, I should just say that it's much easier finishing on cereals because you've got more control over that. So that's why farmers might do it. But yes, it's an additional expense, which in our way of thinking is unnecessary. You just have to keep the cows for a little bit longer on your grass and they will finish in time.
Okay. And why is it more healthy for humans?
Because the meat it produces is full of carotene, omega-3s, minerals, vitamins. It's just a very healthy meat that you could eat.
And the environment, obviously, is there an environmental cost to eat for producing all this grain? And
yes, okay, so if you want to look at the wider environmental picture, it really doesn't make sense to grow cereals, to feed to cows, to produce protein, to feed humans. ruminants, which is what cows and sheep are. So cows and sheep are both ruminants. They're the only animals that can convert grass into protein for humans to eat.
That's right.
60% of the UK is covered in grass, and really we should be making the most of the grass in order to have 100% grass-fed beef and lamb in order to feed us all, and save the cereals for feeding directly to humans. It's much more efficient.
That makes more sense, of course.
Yeah. It takes 8 kilos of cereals to produce 1 kilo of beef.
I just want to thank you, Fidelity, for all your information and your enthusiasm. It's fantastic to be around this, and it's really, really helped me on my journey. It's truly a win-win situation for all. The cows eat their natural diet, which leads them to be healthier. Then we end up eating the cows that have a natural diet, which makes us healthier. It's truly a win-win. Okay, so what's happening with this meat?
Meat is ready.
Yeah?
Let's get it out. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
You excited?
Oh, I really am. Oh, you smell that?
That is really a deep smell, you know? Really, really like deep smell. Oh my goodness.
Okay. This is speaking to me.
I can just smell the rosemary.
That's beautiful.
And the caramelization.
That's
really
exactly what I wanted.
Okay,
right?
good.
So now what I'm going to do is let it rest for
Okay.
at least 10 minutes.
Okay, what's the reason for that? Because, this whole resting thing is, I've heard about it before, but what's the reason for it?
Right. One of the main reasons is because it's been in high heat. When you if I burn you, right? If you get burned, your skin get tightened straight away. So that's exactly what's happening here. It's been cooking to high heat, so all the whole meat has been contracted, and all the muscles have been solidified. So what I want to do, let it rest and let the meat relax itself.
Wow.
Right. So a bit of patience there before you eat.
That's it.
Right? I know you're hungry, but
no, exactly.
Yeah. So I just wanted to rest completely. And then when you cut it into it, but because by the time it starts resting, it's still cooking. So what I've done now is medium rare. So by the time I finish, it start resting, it will be medium rare to medium, which is perfect.
Okay. Yes, that's what I like.
So I'll just take that out. There you go.
And I'm guessing you're going to use this has got to be saved, right?
Of course, it has to be.
Okay.
It's going to go into the gravy, or can you make it into a stock? Put it in our beef stock as well.
Ah, okay.
So nothing goes to waste.
Cool. I'll go and get them.
No worries. Let me get the veg out. All right. There you go. Roast veg. Oh, some different flavors coming in. You can smell the parsnip, the peppers, the colors is vibrant. It's exactly what you're looking for. Roast aubergine, which no one almost never does. So this is exactly what I wanted. Something completely different flavors, different colors, and everything comes together as one dish. And as Mohsen is going to grab his family, this is exactly what we're looking for. Everyone sit together, the dish comes together, and everyone eats. Right, Yorkshire pudding. Oof. Oh, just like I promised, huge Yorkshire pudding, raised, done. And to go with that, I made a nice gravy with all the trim that came off the beef, with some of the beef stock that came from the bone, and that's just been rendered down and simmered down to make a nice thick gravy to go with our beef and veg and Yorkshire pudding. There's a lot more where that came from.
So, we've come to the finality of the beef. This is a fantastic dish that Uthman has cooked for us. I'm very grateful to him. I wanted to see what he would do with a short rib. I was quite excited, and he's made a lovely dish. What do you think?
And also the fact, it's an amazing thing for all the family to get together to cook as well together. It's not just one person cooking it. It's the whole family get together. One prepare the meat, one prepare the veg. The kids will do the gravy. So everyone get together. Everyone eats together. It's an amazing. It's a beautiful thing. It's something that we should definitely bring back and encourage for all of us, all our family to do.
Lovely. Yeah. Very great.
On that note,
yeah, let's get stuck in, and hopefully we'll see you soon.